What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to Fireside Rangers. I'm your host, Eric Wilson. Today, joined with my co-host, Colin Alcaves. It's been a minute. I've been traveling. Colin was sick for a while, but we're back. And you know who else is back? It's the New York Rangers. We were looking terrible. Things were not going our way. We were on I think it was like a 4-game losing streak, maybe 3 or 4 games. And we couldn't score at home. We couldn't get anything done. But then all of a sudden, we've locked in the 8 previous games that the Rangers have played. They've earned points in 7 of them. I think you said it was 5-1-2 was our record across these 8 games. So a couple of overtime losses in there. But as we break down each of these games and really dive into who they were going up against, I think we'll accept the overtime losses for what they are. So there's going to be a quick little recap of how we've been, and do we think, are the Rangers getting lucky throughout this last stretch of games, this last 10th of the season, or are we actually back to being a good hockey team? That is the question. So we're going to get right into that. But before we do, make sure you guys like, subscribe, ring that bell to miss notification. Be sure to leave your thoughts down in the comment section below, and be sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms at Fireside Rangers. Now, Colin, before I ask you how you're doing today, I'm just realizing in the time that it's been since our last recording, I kept telling myself the next time I hop in here, I need to wear my new jersey, and I didn't put it on. It slipped my mind. I did purchase one of the Winter Classic jerseys, for those of you that don't know so we'll make a game out of it since I forgot. I'll make sure to wear it in the next episode. Guess what player I bought, and whoever gets it right will get a shout out in the next video. So fun little challenge for you guys, the viewers. But now that I've handled that, Colin, how you doing, and how you've been feeling about these Rangers?
I'm good. Was really, really sick last week. I think I had the flu. And now, since I've gotten sick, the Rangers have came back. Actually, they've been back a little bit longer than that. But they definitely helped me when I was feeling my worst to kind of power through that and just watch a little bit of Rangers hockey at night, get me out of bed, and watch what has been a very productive team as of late, going up against some of the top teams in the league. So I'll give a quick recap of who we played recently, and then we can talk catalysts. But the last 8, you won against the Blues 3-2, Hurricanes 4-2, Bruins 6-2. You lose on a back-to-back against the Lightning 4-1. Beat Dallas in overtime in a comeback win at home. Beat Ottawa 4-2, and then you lose to Vegas and Colorado, not in that order, Colorado and Vegas in order, back-to-back at home. But that's two of the top teams in the league, and you lose to both of them in overtime. The Vegas game, we'll probably get to it a little bit later. I don't know if you watched it. Refs were real shady. Didn't like the calls.
The refs, that there was one specific play, which I'm sure we'll bring up at some point in overtime. But yeah, those refs.
But that was tough. But getting the last minute magic against Colorado and Panarin with the snipe from the point. You just like to see the team really competing and being in there against these quality opponents, and their schedule lightens up a little bit up until Christmas, I believe, is what all the tweets were saying, and everybody was kind of giving them this stretch of games. I know there was a couple of fans in particular who were like, this is the game, these are the set of games I'm going to be evaluating them on. If they can compete and be good in this stretch, then I will say that they're back. Otherwise, this will give Jury a pretty good idea of what he's got to do going forward. And I think they came out of it otherwise, unscathed to get points in 7 out of 8 games. Those are some really, really good opponents. Carolina is always one of the top teams in the East. Boston's kind of fumbling, figuring it out. Dallas is I think 10 points ahead of us and second in the league. Colorado has like 2 regulation losses and I think 20 wins already, and we took them to overtime. Vegas we had, and we unfortunately it slipped away, but to get the points there, every point matters, especially in the way that the Metro is this year, where like 6 points separate every 16, like 6 points separate like the bottom from the top. That might be an exaggeration. That could very well be the truth. It is
right now the current leader of our division is Washington with 39, and the bottom is Columbus with 32. So it is 7 points separating one from 8 in this division. And meanwhile, the Rangers are right there at 5th, tied with Pittsburgh, who they have labeled as 4th with 34. So it's a little ridiculous in the Metro this season.
It's ridiculous all the way around. The East as a whole is just jam packed. Even the not the Metro, what is it? The Atlantic is also pretty jam packed over there. Obviously, they have some teams who aren't doing as hot, like Buffalo and things like that. But it's the same thing, and the playoffs are going to be just a gauntlet if we can even get there, just because of how close everything is in the standings. Every point matters, as I keep saying. So to
Yeah.
be able to get these quality points against quality opponents now going into what is supposed to be an easier stretch of hockey, you can't take your foot off the gas. You need to keep going. But I remember this time last year, we were so far out of it. So far out of it. We had a rough November. We were hoping December would turn it around. This November, I thought, was pretty good. We're amongst one of the best road teams. I think we are the best road team in the league. And the home numbers are starting to turn around. You're starting to see them kind of put it together. I know they lost their last two, but again, it's Vegas and Colorado. So you have to take that with a grain of salt. You'd like to see them win one of those two, especially because they led in the Vegas one with like 52 seconds left. But again, shady reffing in that one. I didn't think a penalty should have been called late. I think a penalty should have been called in overtime. They end up redoing a face-off that Mika won. Brett Howden wins it, and Eichel goes off to the races. So that one, I don't really blame it on them. I thought they played a good enough game to win. But the rest of them, they've just been quality games. I was like deathly ill for that Dallas game, and I was watching and watching them come back. That was electric. It was one of the best games of the year. One of the best third periods. They had 20 shots in that third period alone. And outshot
Like
one of the best teams. What?
It sounds like you're still going through it.
Yeah, I still have a little bit of a lingering cough. But you outshot Dallas, who's one of the best teams in the league, 41-26 in that game. You manhandled one of the best teams in the league, a team that, in my opinion, is one of the favorites to come out of the West, just like they are every year. They're a very, very good squad. So I think that they've been playing very complimentary hockey. Everybody's been doing very well. Some of these games obviously have been played without Adam Fox, and they've still been able to kind of pick up the pieces of where he was and put it together, whether that be Borgen contributing. Gavrikov has been phenomenal down the stretch here, hitting his career high in goals already this early into the season, and while playing extremely good defense. And you're getting some contributions, not on the stat sheet, but in the minutes department in terms of Robertson and Morrow and Schneider. They're all playing a little bit more of an elevated role. So it's all just kind of coming together right now, and as we continue to get healthy and kind of really build on that and this solid 8-game stretch, you'll start to see the talks of buyers or sellers it's going to start sooner versus later. It's exciting times. There's a lot of reasons to get on board now. Before the going gets real good. I think that there's a promising future ahead for the Rangers.
Yeah, I'll hop in and just go back a couple minutes ago when you're talking about how every point matters. Just looking at the standings pulled up, at this point the Rangers are currently sitting in the second wild card position, and sure, if you look at the complete standings, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 teams that are only 1 or 2 points behind us, and the Rangers have played more games than them, so maybe that'll balance itself out. But as long as the Rangers can continue to win, then that hopefully just shouldn't matter. We don't give them the chance to catch up. Obviously, Philly's right behind Detroit, New Jersey, Columbus, teams that have beaten us already. So the Rangers do need to keep winning. I'm really looking forward to this upcoming stretch because looking back to last year, we were grasping at straws there, saying like, "Oh, remember when St. Louis is bottom of the league on New Year's?" And that was a miracle. I don't know if that's ever going to happen again. But I think we're in a much better position than we were last year. We're finally starting to get healthy. Obviously Adam Fox is out for a little bit right now, but looking back to the beginning of the season in October, Panarin was injured, Trocheck was injured, Miller was injured. A lot of our best players who are now back and contributing a lot. I really like the turnaround from Panarin. Panarin's been playing great over these last couple games. I also have to give a big shout out to Mika. That's the reason why I chose for him to be on the graphic here today. I feel like Mika might have been our best forward over these last 8 games, which is not something I was expecting to say at any point in this season. So it's really good for him. And of course, you also mentioned Gavrikov, 10 out of 10 free agent signing, looking like one of the best signings in the entire NHL this season. So things are finally starting to click for the Rangers. I really hope we can keep it up. I haven't looked forward at the schedule leading up until Christmas, but I'll take your word for it. Fingers crossed, it's an easier stretch. And if we're playing this good right now against harder teams in the league, imagine this 8-game stretch if we were playing the same way against them. Instead of 5-1-2, maybe you're like 7-0-1 or something. If we just played the Islanders 8 times, a bad team. But we're looking forward to it. Rangers, are we back? We'll see what happens on Christmas. I'm going to say it. I have a glimmer of hope, which is that's the first time I can say it since like the first week of the season. So we'll see how it goes. Me and Colin will be back soon. So if you guys did enjoy, please be sure to like, subscribe, ring that bell so you don't miss notification. As always, leave your thoughts down in the comment section below, and be sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms at Fireside Rangers. But most importantly, have a good one. And let's
go Rangers.
And don't forget to guess what jersey I bought.